Everyone from a softly raining Kremenchuk. Nice soft weather, as William Wallace said in Mel Gibson's Braveheart. It's great actually because it gave me a chance to go out for a run this morning without putting on spikes and taking an ice axe. And really I can't say nowadays that I dislike any of the weather. This is just a nice change, and it's set to go on for some time. Makes things a bit muddy and dirty, but there again, you can't have everything. Okay, well, the news on the war front is really that there's no news, and that actually is very good, because as far as I'm aware from my sources, there has been no fighting. Which means Silent Tuesday has run into Wednesday and Thursday. As for the talks in Minsk, again it's not clear whether they will go ahead, but I understand from sources that they will. And let's hope that we're actually going to stop fighting and start talking, and that Mr. P pulls back from this situation, which frankly he orchestrated. Anyway, having said that, I just thought I'd say hello and recount a few of the things that have happened to me in the last couple of days. The most notable was yesterday when I wrote a letter to the British Pensions Department, as I have to tell them that I have changed my address and that I'm now in Ukraine, and that doesn't affect where my pension's paid to at the moment, because unfortunately I can't open a bank account here even though I'm a permanent resident, because I'm missing some number or other, which is a shame, because although my bank and the bank here don't per se charge interest or commission, on these withdrawals, what they do is put the put the exchange rate in their favour. So over the course of a month, I stand to lose quite a lot of money, and I don't want that to continue. Anyway, having written this letter in a nice airmail envelope with the sender's address, as is required in most places, especially here, I went to the post office and I queued up with lots of babushkas and dirishkas and other people trying to do various things, not just buy stamps, and finally got to the head of the line, and this middle-aged lady said yes, and so I put my envelope down, my letter, just the envelope, and said in bad Russian, but understandable I think, I would like some stamps to send this to England, and then I go through the list of different ways of saying England, United Kingdom, Britain, Britannia, Anglia, blah blah blah. And she just looked at me and said, "And?" I was a bit nonplussed, because one thing you need on a letter is stamps, and I would have thought that was quite obvious. And I tried to explain that again, but I'd forgotten what the word for stamp was. Finally, losing patience, a lady behind me pushed me aside gently and said to the woman, as far as I could make out, and it was quite obvious what she said, "Well, what do you think he's come here for? Bananas or what? He's given you an envelope, please put some stamps on it." Okay, that's that's an example of I don't know whether it's intended to be rudeness, but it comes over pretty rude. And the lady afterwards, after the assistant put the stamps on, and then very kindly offered to put it in the mailbox rather than me having to walk outside and do so, the lady just said, "Well, I'm sorry, you're obviously a foreigner. Well, if you hear me speaking Russian or trying to speak Ukrainian, you would gather that." But my Russian is improving. As I said before, I intend to concentrate on that, because who knows, I would definitely need it if things get sticky here. So, in order to practice Russian, or Ukrainian I suppose, the best thing to do is actually go and see the old ladies, babushkas, and my Ukrainian friends will say that's not the way to say it, but grandmothers who are trying to eke out and supplement their pensions by selling stuff. The advantage of doing that is they are really keen to sell you something, and they will accept any form of Russian Ukrainian or Rushlish or Ukrainish because they want to sell you stuff. And now I'm on, it's strange, now I'm on my vegetarian kick. I doubt I'll ever become a vegan because I frankly like dairy products too much, and I don't think I could live without my milk and cheese and things like that. But other than that, I'm pretty vegetarian now. I haven't eaten fish for since I left the Philippines, so, and I don't miss it because you know, I've found out you can really make interesting and tasty food without using definitely meat, and I probably won't give up fish because I really like it and I need it, but also I need other things, so like these berries. Now, the old David would have refused to even countenance eating these berries, but actually I felt sorry for the poor lady who'd been sitting in the rain obviously all day selling these bunches of berries, and they were so cheap. I think this was about 20 pence or less, and I've tried them. They're a little bit bitter, but obviously good for me. Anything that doesn't taste too good is good for you. And back to my favourite, which is walnuts. I could eat kilograms of these things, and they're supposed to be good for your brain. Although I was warned a few years ago that you should only eat no more than 5 of these because they're good for your brain until they're not good for your brain, if you get what I mean. Anyway, I have decided to forget whether that was 5 grams or 5 kilograms, so I just eat them like sweets. I don't eat any sweets now. I do miss things like ice cream and all the things that are really fattening. But it's not just to lose weight. This traditional healer come witch in Philippines said that these things were causing my mood swings and bad temper and lack of self-esteem. And I have to say, whether it's just psychological, which is probably the right word anyway, I have calmed down. I do appreciate myself more now, not all of me, but in the process of doing that, and of course a lot of exercise, I've lost, I would say actually about 18-20 kilos. I'm down to 70 kilos, which is quite a good weight, and well in the BMI average or whatever, if you believe that stuff. The only trouble is I've lost my bottom, and I keep searching around for it, but it's dropped off. Alright, so I'm not going to take up much more of your time, other than to wish you all a good evening. And, oh, by the way, here, I finally read, having got my correct glasses back, that this magnificent clock, which I bought for peanuts, was actually manufactured in the Soviet Union. So, it's not only a beautiful thing, but it will be a keepsake of the old Soviet Union. Hopefully we're not going to go into a new Soviet Union, as Mr. P seems to want. And on closer examination, this free gift of the Ming Dynasty bear, as I was told, it is free gifts, so don't give horse in the mouth, is actually Tigger the tiger from I've forgotten what the story is. Anyway, from those very famous children's stories, which actually surprised me because I didn't realise that these stories were written so far back in time, because this is apparently Ming Dynasty. Anyway, enough nonsense. Have a good evening, and if I have any news, I'll give it to you. Bye.